What's a secret you can only share with online strangers? If you ever need help, then please know that there are many qualified people who would like to help you. There are crisis services worldwide that are trained to provide support. They are designed to give temporary relief from feelings that are overwhelming you, and while they are unlikely to fix any underlying problems, can help you get through a tough hour/night/week. Chat services are usually available on these sites. In the US, calling 211 or going to their website is a free referral source. They have providers who will see you regardless of your ability to pay. Just as you would see a doctor when you are sick, you deserve to take care of your mental health. Due to the current plague, COVID, my best friend of 10+ years lost his job. He was going through rough times beforehand, wife cheated, left him, horrible divorce, etc. Now, he's not the sharpest tool in the shed, and can be forgetful. He, however, is a very proud man and will not accept help from anybody. Nothing I can do, he's always been that way. Important later. One night while having a few beers, he mentions how he's worried about making rent next month. Due to my decent savings and good job, I offered to help him. He refused, saying he would never accept it. Now, I know his landlord as a vague acquaintance, saw him and had talked to him a few times before while at my buddy's place. So I went to see him while my buddy was at another friend's house working on his old dirt bike. I paid his rent in full, in cash, for the next 2 months. I told his landlord to never tell him it came from me, and to tell him that was owed to him due to overpayment on his rent while he lived there. Something about reviewing the last few years' finances, to make it seem legit. He totally bought it. I saw him the next weekend, and he was so happy. He told me all about the overpayment, and how that magically saved him, for without them, he might be homeless. While he thinks he was saved due to an accounting error, I'm so happy knowing I greatly improved his situation, at least for a little while. Edit. Firstly, thank you kind strangers for the awards. Can't have my phone on me at all at work, surprised to see this blew up. I'll be replying soon, the doggo needs to go on a walk now, smiley face. Edit 2, just reply to as many comments as time would allow. I just want to thank everyone for the kind comments, smiley face. Wow, what an amazing and wholesome story. You are a great friend. He's lucky to have you. Sometimes when my medical issues are acting up, I can't even remember my husband's name. I know who he is, but it's like the data is corrupted and my brain is returning unknown error instead of name. I get transient aphasia with my migraines. It's an awful feeling and I'm sorry you have to deal with it. Good morning Null, how'd you sleep? Not much of a secret, but my dad lied about having a family to my mom. My dad is still in the picture, but we're like the secondary family. It took 25 years for me to finally meet one of my brothers from my dad's side. He seems to be the only one who half-heartedly wanted to meet me. The rest don't seem to care too much about my existence. OMG, this happened with my best friends growing up, and I only actually found out very recently. My best friend and I are nearly 40. And her sister is about 43. It turns out, their father was always an incredibly righteous and judgmental person. But he secretly had a whole other family, right here in our tiny little town, with 2 daughters, of similar ages, to my friends. Oh, and grandchildren. And he just came home one day and dropped that bomb on everyone casually and then went out to snooker club. That's all I know. I'm shocked. It's obviously hurtful in many ways. His wife is a lovely woman. She accepted it. They all did. And that's for the best. I'm still floored. That sucks. One of my dear friends was on the other side of the story, and when I asked her why she didn't reach out to her half-sister, she said it's not her, it just hurts too badly. She's the product of everything my dad did to screw up our lives. He had her because we weren't enough. I don't know how else to explain it, but with her it felt like a combination of jealousy and loyalty to her mom. Tough stuff. I doubt that they don't care about your existence, but rather that they probably care too much about the pain on all sides. It's not fair, it's not your fault, but some people don't know how to move past pain well, and I'm sorry you're the one getting shortchanged. For what it's worth, I'd love to have another sibling. Come on down, smiley face. Never told my parents I had stage 1 cancer. Both were barely sober and would have jumped off the wagon head first. Brightside Doc got it all. Edit, thank you for the awards and thank you all. Smiley face, glad you beat cancer. I know that must have been a hard decision to make, but it was probably for the better to not tell them. Literally did the same thing. I'm 20 and my mom would have probably had a heart attack. Lost her mom to the same form of cancer. I'm 2 weeks post-surgery and all is well, so no harm. About 10 years ago, I stole my bully's phone and threw it off a building. He still doesn't know what happened to his phone. This reminds me of when I was 12 and I hid a kid's bike helmet so he couldn't bike home from school, since the school's policy was that all kids were to wear a helmet if they were to ride to and from school. I ended up fessing up to it though, sadly, and gave him his helmet back after a week. When I was with my host family, it was honestly the only year of my life I felt like a part of a family. I miss them so much. That's really touching. Sometimes we think our family lives are normal until we experience another way. Anyhow, I'm sure they miss you, too. Until recently, I've felt the same way about my host family. And it's been 19 years since I've stayed with them for 13 months. Luckily, I started my own little family now and my heart is full again. 3. I felt the same way with my ex's family. They seemed so close and loving. They brought me in as one of them, but she broke up with me and smeared my name to them. I was raised by my mom, never had much of a relationship with my deadbeat father, usually didn't see him for years. I didn't think much of it. I was a happy child. My mom gave me everything she could and I didn't miss anything. When I was with my host family, it was so weird, seeing the father interact with his children and realizing that's what a complete family looks like. I went through a lot of emotional turmoil during my stay, especially because my aunt gave me a heads up that my father actually asked her for my phone number while I was there, and then he never contacted me. I still wouldn't trade my life for one he would have been involved in. Especially after he wrote me an email where he casually talked shit about my mother, insulted women in general and blamed her for not letting him see me. Complete bullshit. We've been in the same room a couple of times when I was a kid and he barely made an attempt to speak to me. But yeah, experiencing that time with my host family, it was a learning experience. It made me realize that I never really saw fathers as parents before. I obsess about being able to start life over, in another time. To the point where I feel this life is not worth bothering about. I always thought the coolest thing, I'm in USA, is that one day you can get up and decide I'm going to move to the state and you don't even have to tell anybody if you don't want to. I obsess about going back in time and doing my whole life different, and then I get sad when I realize it's not possible. Sad face. There is a video of me being interviewed by Tulsa Channel 9 News where I'm drunk wearing a beer-soaked crop top tank top Oak State shirt being asked about my opinion on beer being sold in Boone Pickens Stadium. Not my finest moment. Late response, I honestly have no idea where / if there is a link of this incident. They might have saved the footage / stored it somewhere and I don't know where to find it. Also, it was Tulsa News 9, not Channel 9 News. Another late response, apparently, I can't remember the news station but I remember a prominent white 9 on a red square background on the mic. Honestly could have been KTUL 8 but I was fucking plastered that day. I Tulsa gang. Kind of specific. Should be easy to find. I have friends that have paid me to record them having sex. You guys get paid? I kind of dislike my best friend. We've known each other a long time, and we're both in unfortunate circumstances, but I'm trying to change mine. He isn't trying to change he just rages about how unfair his life is. I've offered all the help I can, but he never takes me up on it, and being his shoulder to cry on can be exhausting. He can be a very negative person, and so can I, but I'm trying to be less so, but it's easy to slip back into negativity when I'm around him. It's all very frustrating sometimes. Edit, thank you so much for the award. A big hug back to everyone who has given me advice and / or been in a similar situation. It's okay to break up with a friend. We don't have language or processes for it like we do for romantic relationships, but we should. Right around when I turned 30, I realized I had some friendships that just were no longer meant to be. Not necessarily toxic, but def Schadenfreude vibes where I didn't want good things for them. So I slowly backed out of their lives, and I think they got the message. I wish no ill will on them, but I also don't wish them tremendous success. If that makes sense. Anyway, here to say, if someone is not vibing anymore, don't feel guilty about creating distance. Make space for more important relationships. I feel relieved whenever I get sick. I have major depression and anxiety problems, and being physically ill is just something people understand better. I don't know how to explain it. Edit, holy shit. I didn't honestly think this many people could relate. It's comforting I'm not alone, but also makes me feel sad. Check on your friends. We aren't doing okay. It's like the physical illness justifies the fucked feelings. You have a reason to feel bad, to stay in bed, to need people around. It gives you also something else to worry about, something present and real. I feel the same. It sucks. Sometimes I look forward to getting sick, just mope with reason and be taken care of. Yup. I totally get that. You mean a doctor will tell me to stay in bed all day and it's exactly what I'm supposed to do? Hell yes. I'm inadvertently ruining my marriage because I'm terrified I'm going to ruin it. You should definitely bring this up with your partner and talk about therapy for you. I had a tendency to do this too. You are more than deserving of a good marriage and a happy life. My ex-husband did this. He used to tell me he was so afraid of losing me. Had dreams about me leaving, etc. He couldn't stand me having the slightest bit of independence. Smothered the hell out of me. I was a singer at the time. He started accusing me of whoring around. I never even considered it. Even if I wanted to keep my family together. He ended up leaving me, with 3 kids. He drove himself nuts. They're mostly raised now. He never was a part of the picture for the past 14 years since he left. Just how fucking lonely I am. Of course no one wants to hear it. They blow smoke up your ass or repeat catchy phrases. I have no friends or anyone I talk to outside of co-workers. I had a bad breakup last year and pretty much no luck since. Edit, thanks for all the awards and kind words. It helps a little. Was not expecting like 4K in upvotes, but I guess that goes to show I'm not alone in my loneliness. Same. Loneliness is brutal and dangerous. I feel like I shouldn't exist. I don't really want to exist. Edit, damn, thanks for all the likes, friends. Wish we could get all the lonely people in one place and just have one big fucking party. I'm in the same boat as you. I've tried dating apps, meetups to no avail. I live by myself with my dog. Now with everything going on, I work from home so have little interaction with anyone. The only people I talk to is my family and co-workers. I sometimes can't sleep and worry if I'll be alone all my life. I make myself cry to feel better, but it doesn't change anything. I'm lonely and I don't think I'll ever find anyone. The emptiness inside eats at me every day and I struggle sometimes to even get through the day. I think something is seriously wrong with me. I created multiple accounts on Reddit to upvote my husband's writing in r/writing prompts to motivate him to continue to write. This is the most wholesome comment in this thread. My mother's last words, as she lay dying in our house, were, "I'm scared. This has fucked me up, bad. And I can't tell anyone I know because I don't want to fuck them up too." I understand it if you don't want to answer this, but what happened? Don't know how I'm going to survive now without stepdad. Died Saturday. Things just hurt so much. It will get better, but take your time. I felt the same when my mother died, but I'm still here, thanks to everything she taught me. Even after death, the people you love stay with you. I wish you lots of strength. My stepdad died last night. I feel your pain. We got this though. I have no motivation to do anything. I do the same thing every day, so I get bored, but then I can't be bothered to start doing something productive. Struggled with same thing for years. Finally did talk about it and they found out I have an depression. Now I'm working on myself, and I'm already more productive most of the times. Don't only talk to online strangers about it, but IRL. It's a negative loop that's hard to break. I've got PTSD from when my mom choked the shit out of me at age 7, I thought I deserved it. You didn't. Hope you're okay. Since my divorce, I don't really want a relationship. I date some and keep it casual, and had one actual girlfriend for 3 months and it was pure hell. My family doesn't get it, but I really like doing the dad and kids thing. I went to counseling in case it was some carryover issues from my marriage, but it seems I just like being on my own. I'm scared that won't change long term. I don't want to end up alone after my kids grow out of the home, but I just can't get on board to doing the relationship bit and don't see that changing anytime soon. Think of it this way. You don't have to conform to the norm. If you're happy by yourself, then be by yourself. If eventually you decide you want to be with other people, be. My mother was afraid of death. On the day she died, 5 different doctors told me there was no hope, and there wasn't. They also told me she couldn't be aware of what's going on. She was. She would open her eyes when she heard me. I asked her several times if she wanted off the vent, and she'd nod. I'd clarify that this would mean it was her time to go, and she wouldn't answer anyway. After several hours of watching a team of nurses work on her while she was circling the drain, I gave the consent. Her last action was one of fear. I am fully convinced that she was completely aware of what was happening for at least 15 seconds, even with a large morphine dose. She grasped at me with her hands as though she were trying to cling to life. I've had many nightmares about it. Edit. Wow. I didn't even expect anyone to see this. Your kind words are greatly appreciated. Edit 2. Wow. Thank you for the reward. Red heart. Many years back, my childhood cat got dementia. Some days he was perfectly fine, other days he stood in corners and peed himself all day cause he didn't know where he was or how to get out of the corner. After a while we gave up on hoping he'd get better, and the day we scheduled the appointment he had a good day and my mother couldn't bear bringing him to the vet, so she asked me. I drove him to the vet close by and the doctor didn't care about our cat. He had to inject more of whatever they used 6 times, and halfway through the cat started twitching and struggling. It took ages until it was all over and I couldn't drive home afterwards. When I came home I pretended everything was fine and have never told anyone because it would break my family's heart even more. I've had to put down many elder pets. The last one was my Doberman with end-stage cancer. Our regular vet, we used for about 15 years, couldn't fit her in and suggested I just drop her off for when they had a minute. That was inconceivable to me. She was in a lot of pain and struggling. So I called another vet, told them the situation, and they said come right over, you can come in the back door so you don't have to go through the lobby. When I got there, they had a private room with a comfy bed on the floor. The vet said he was going to give her an injection that would make her relaxed, feel good, and drowse off. He would give us about 15 minutes to sleep, then he'd be back for the final shot. He turned the lights off as he left, leaving just a dim quiet room and us to snuggle. She did relax, she clearly was feeling good, even wagged her tail as she put her head on my leg and just sighed like, "Whew," then she fell asleep. He came back in a few minutes and gave her the last shot. She was never frightened. I was furious that I never knew this was an option for pets before, and still think of all the frightened pets I've had to be strong for while they lived their last moments. Needless to say, we switched vet clinics that day. My sister had a litter of puppies a year ago. 5 of the 6 got parvovirus, the 6th was given to my other sister. They slowly died over the course of a week. My mom and sister tried to save them without any luck. The 3rd one to go was my favorite of them. Another sister and I took this puppy to the emergency vet. I couldn't even tell the doctors at the time that I consented to the decision. I had to have my sister give them the clear. I was very disturbed with the whole situation. I had never had a pet put down before. I still feel guilty for sitting in the hallway when I had the option to be there with the puppy. I'm so sorry you didn't get their support, but I agree with your choice not to share. I've cut off all ties with family and friends to be alone for the rest of my life. I've honestly been the happiest I've ever been in my whole life. If you aren't happy with them in your life, then they shouldn't be in your life. Thumbs up. Created a throwaway for this because I know of at least one person that knows my username and this can never be discovered about me. When I first started dating my boyfriend, I moved in with him in another state pretty quickly, like after 3 to 4 months. So one night, he was in the shower in our 1-bedroom 1-bathroom apartment and I was chillin' in the living room, and suddenly I had to poop so bad. Like it was go time, and he was in the shower and I absolutely did not feel comfortable going in there and blowing up the toilet at the same time he was in the shower. In hindsight, I should have just run to the corner store and gone POO and come back with snacks and acted like I just wanted some munchies, but I was panicking, so what did I do? I grabbed 2 plastic grocery bags, doubled them up, took them into our walk-in closet. I think I figured if he popped out of the shower in the middle of my shame, at least I would be behind another door and have a minute to compose myself, and I squatted and pooped a huge load of turd into these grocery bags in our closet. I wiped with paper towels and tied up the bag and immediately went down and took out the trash. He will never know. No one will never know. This is my shame. Thanks for watching. If you could like, subscribe and comment best Reddit stories for more Reddit videos.